Here we go. Who's it gonna be? Oh man, pretty nervous. Who is this? It's just Mario in a dark, very dark place with shadows. Oh, it's Minecraft Steve! Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, okay. This is you know what? I can't be mad. I can't be mad, you know. This is honestly as you know what? I have no words. I really don't have any words. I'm not mad, but I'm also not like, oh, this is a great pick. You know what? This is surprising. This is very surprising. People were saying Minecraft Steve is gonna get into Smash, and I gotta be honest. I laughed it off. I really laughed off Minecraft Steve. But in all honesty, my God, they actually pulled it off. They actually pulled off. Microsoft did it again. Alex swaps in. Alright. This is about as Nintendo can get. So, I'm assuming these are going to be the alternates. So, yeah, these are definitely the alternates. All the creepers. Oh man. Okay, I gotta admit that shook me. Like I am shocked this actually legit happened. Like I really did not expect like Minecraft to actually happen, y'all. Like legit. Like, I literally laughed off the notion of Minecraft Steve to actually happen in Smash Bros. But I gotta give Nintendo, like, some ounce of credit. Now, let's just see what else they gotta say, because there's gonna be, a brief message from Sakurai after this, so let's check it out. And, hello. Welcome, everyone, to a weekly podcast I do every Friday called DylanLasagna Live. And what you just saw there was one of the most very surprising, most shell-shocked reactions that honestly I could ever say. I don't know. I'm honestly still lost for words when I reacted to that character that we got yesterday in that presentation from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, in case you missed the intro to this podcast, Minecraft Steve is going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But before we get into that, again, welcome to the DylanLasagna Live podcast. We do this podcast every Friday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific. I am, of course, DylanLasagna. So if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell and all that good jazzy stuff that helps me get recommended on YouTube and not help my channel die even a further death than it already has. But anyway, so on this podcast, again, we talk about a variety of things because that's always what I like to do, variety content. So, like from wrestling, from gaming, all that stuff. So yesterday, I obviously reacted to the new Smash character reveal. That's actually going to be one of the tidbits we're going to be talking about this week. Because holy shit, this broke the entire internet. Twitter was down for like... Twitter was apparently down for... I don't know how long, but everyone was saying Twitter broke because Minecraft Steve was revealed for Smash. Now, hear me out. I stayed away from Twitter because honestly, I have things to do in the morning. So, what was I gonna say? So, oh yeah, I stayed away from Twitter. So, because, again, I am a busy man. And I'm losing my train of thought here for some reason. I don't know why. It's too late in the day for me to be losing my train of thought. And, oh, yeah, to avoid spoilers. To avoid being spoiled on who the character could exactly be. So, I hop onto the YouTube, onto YouTube, get my ass in this chair that I'm sitting on right now, get into the camera that I'm facing right now, like put my hand over my face so I don't see any spoilers. I think I had the live stream listed, like had a notification bell for the live stream, like so I went into the notification so it would go straight to the live stream. So thankfully that saved my ass. And then I had to scrub through the live stream because it was like 30 minutes of literally just waiting. And then we got to the reveal, and then obviously it was Minecraft Steve. I thought it was going to be like Crash Bandicoot because there's all the third-party characters like Mario, Sonic, Cloud, Terry Bogard. But as soon as Mario went into the 2D blocks of darkness, then it clearly wasn't. So, I mean, nonetheless, I think this is a really surprising, and for me personally, I mean, I'm not the biggest Minecraft fan in the world. I really don't care. I'm really indifferent about the franchise, but I do think that this is exactly what Nintendo needed. This is what they needed for Fire Pass 2. They needed the oh shit character. They needed a seller. They needed a pass seller to get people to buy this Fighter's Pass. Because you kicked it off with Min Min from ARMS. And going into this, you had going not just into Challenger Pack 7, but also Fighter's Pass 2 in general. Like, even before we knew Min Min and now Minecraft Steve, when Fighter's Pass 2 was still a whole new thing, people were like kind of getting skeptical because, well, at the end of Fighter's Pass 1, who did we get? We got freaking Byleth from Fire Emblem. And literally, remember my reaction back in January when Byleth was revealed? Pure disappointment. Who asked for this shit? And then when Min Min was revealed, now I personally liked Min Min. Like, I personally liked ARMS being represented in Smash because I thought, well, the game, yeah, it didn't sell that great. I thought Now, if it could get a sequel, then yeah, it deserves the representation. I do think I'm all for arms gang representation. So Min Min was a good pick for me. But I know so for a lot of people it wasn't. But yeah, Challenger Pack 7, the second character for Fighters Pass 2 needed that home run hit. It needed that, not really the walk-off yet. It didn't need the walk-off, but it needs something to entice people to buy Season 2 of this DLC. So, what they got? Well, for many people, they seem sold on Fighters Pass 2. They finally got Steve from Minecraft. And, well, I gotta give credit where credit is due. I didn't think it was gonna become a reality. It was rumored and leaked for, 3 years now? No, 2 years. That Minecraft Steve was gonna be in Smash. And, well, here we are. Here we are. It's an official reality. Now there's going to be a presentation on Saturday, tomorrow. Sakurai presents Steve and Alex before I think it's like a Minecraft presentation, whatever. So Sakurai's gonna do like a full-on presentation like he normally would with all the new Smash fighters for the DLC. So for those interested in Minecraft and Minecraft Steve, that's happening at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, depending on which time zone you are. They're probably going to show off Mii costumes too, and that could be good and worrisome for your picks. Like me, I'm worried. I'm always worried. I'm always worried when they show off the Mii costumes. Because I'm an advocate for Crash Bandicoot. I always will be. So if Activision pulls that shit, my heart will be broken. It really will. I'm dead serious. Over a video game character. Yes, it's depressing. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm losing my train of thought here again. Steve from Minecraft is in Smash Bros. Challenger Pack 7. I think this should bring in a lot of excitement for many people. Whether it's the hardcore fan base, Smash fans, the core fan base that was losing interest in Ultimate, the casual fans that are trying to pick up this game, and especially the Minecraft fans that don't necessarily have Smash Bros. But are hyped to see Steve in this game. Yeah, take that. And then we take out the batteries. I always forget to do that. I always forget to do that every time I go live. But anyway, so it should excite a lot of people in the video game industry. This is also a really good situation with Nintendo and Microsoft. Nintendo gets more hype for Ultimate. Obviously, Microsoft with Minecraft. They get more sales with Minecraft. Nintendo gets more sales with Ultimate and their Fighters Pass. So it's a win-win. And it also further establishes the relationship, the really, really good relationship with Nintendo and Microsoft. So they're, at this point, if you didn't think they were buddy-buddy, well, now they, you should know by now. They're buddy-buddy with each other. Now it's just I don't think it will happen, but Sony is Sony going to approach Nintendo and say, hey, let's get a PlayStation exclusive character into Smash? And I don't think that's ever going to happen. But going forward, looking ahead, for those people that like me that don't really care about Minecraft Steve getting to Smash, who do we think, not we, but who do I think are the remaining 4 picks of Fighters Pass 2? Now, yes, again, there's only 6 slots in Fighters Pass 2. 1 extra from the first Fighters Pass. And Min Min and Minecraft Steve have already taken 2 of them. So there's only 4 chances left for whoever your favorite character is. I do believe still that we are going to get 4... no, not 4 first party, but a split. I think we're going to get an even split. I'm firmly believe that. We're going to get a firm split between 3 first party and 3 third party. Now, who fills out the remaining 4? Again, I'm always going to be a firm, I'm always going to have a firm hope that Crash Bandicoot will join Smash Bros. And it may not necessarily be the next slot, but it'll be one of the 4 remaining. Simply because, unlike the the ones that are mentioned in videos, in many videos that are out there, he has the legacy. He has the 90s rivalry with Mario and Sonic. Yeah, sure, he's had that downfall with the various games in the 2000s. But I do think the revival significantly brought back Crash Bandicoot into relevance. It really brought the character back to life. And yeah, would I liked to see Crash revealed yesterday? I really thought it was a good chance, especially it would have helped Activision for even further market It's About Time, that came out today. But I think, considering that Minecraft Steve was supposed to be the E3 reveal, then I wasn't really expecting it. It was wishful thinking. That's all I could say. To have Crash revealed the day before, It's About Time coming out the next day. So I'm still pulling for Crash to be in Smash. You know how big of a Crash fan I am. I have always preferred him over Mario. I mean, I like Mario too, but Crash is always the top over Mario. Now, as for the other 4, it's anyone. I mean, for the other 3, it's anyone's guess. Literally anyone's guess from here. But I do think Nintendo will probably go back to the well with when it comes to the first party characters. I think they will. One of those first party characters will probably be another makeup character, in the situation of Min Min. So I do think that they're probably going to add Rex and Pyra. So that it's kind of like with Min Min. We wanted to add Rex and Pyra into the base roster, but due to development being so far away from Smash Ultimate, we had to settle for the premium Rex Mii costume. So now we're gonna make it up with one of the DLC Pass 2 slots. So for Xenoblade 2 fans, I think this is one of the last windows of opportunity to get Rex and Pyra into Smash Ultimate as playable characters. I also think with the small amount of time I've had with Xenoblade 2, I think they would play well with I don't know how to say it, their play style, with the moveset potential. So I think they would be good. Some people were also saying Travis Touchdown, Ryu Hayabusa, Dante. Those are some pretty good picks too. But if I had to pick another third party, it would either come down to Travis Touchdown or I'd say Dante. So either one of those two. And then for the final first party pick, I'd say it'd be. I'm kind of leaning towards Impa now. I'm kind of leaning towards there. Because in all honesty, I think Nintendo's kind of using this pass to promote their games. They did it with ARMS, in the end of Fire Pass 1, they did it to promote Three Houses. Now they're either gonna they could either do Impa from Age of Calamity, or like one of the champions, or one of the champions from Breath of the Wild to promote Breath of the Wild 1 and 2, or like if it's not like a Breath of the Wild character, it could be a Gen 8 Pokemon from Sword and Shield. Now, I don't care about Pokemon, but looking at it from a business perspective, that's probably what Nintendo would do if they're going to add a first party character. So we will see. But those will be my picks for the remaining 4 slots. Obviously, my number 1's Crash Bandicoot, and then from there, realistically, it'll be Rex and Pyra, and then either a Travis Touchdown or a Dante in that last third-party slot, and then who did I say? Oh yeah, Impa or a Gen 8 Pokemon. And then I was also mentioning this in I commented on a video that was talking about not Gino, but the Steve, and they were at the end of the video, they were talking about looking towards the future. And I commented how Nintendo may do they might give us a treat, like a bonus character as a way to say thank you. As a way to say thank you to all the fans for not only purchasing all the characters, but as a way to say thank you for let's say by 2021 or early 2022 we're done with all the DLC. It's their way of saying thank you for playing, for supporting Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for all these years, yada yada yada. So they give a highly requested a fan service, a really big fan service character, to close it out with a bang, with a home run hitter. So if they were gonna do that, let's say they do. I'm not saying they will. I do think that this would be a good spot for Gino. For those people that really want him that bad, I do think that Gino would fit that bill. But if it's not him, then I think the assist trophy rule would be broken. It'll be broken, and Waluigi will finally become a playable fighter. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that, but I mean, Sakurai's literally been breaking all the rules in this DLC, and not just the DLC, but literally the entirety of Smash Ultimate. So if they were gonna do a bonus thank you gift, it would be either Gino or Waluigi, to say thanks to the fans. So we'll see what happens with the Smash Ultimate DLC. But again, my number 1 pick will always be Crash Bandicoot, because I don't know, it would just feel incomplete without him, Mario, and Sonic. I mean, if Minecraft Steve, with all the legacy he has had, can get in there, I mean, so can Crash Bandicoot. And if Activision can't get that done, then it's a really missed opportunity. It really is. So hopefully Activision worked out a deal with Nintendo to get that shit done, and hopefully we will see Crash as an actual playable fighter and not a Mii costume. Because again, my heart would sink if Crash was a Mii costume. He's just too big for that. He's just too big of an icon for that. I know my Crash bias is showing, but Crash Bandicoot is too big. Not as big as Ridley. Literally, he's in the spirit of gaming, he is too big of an icon to just be a Mii costume. Plus, it would also be really weird, don't you think? You're playing as the Mii fighter brawler with the Crash suit on, and you're not spitting at all. You're just like punching air and all that. It doesn't really fit Crash. Crash only works as a playable fighter. So hopefully we get to see that one day. Hopefully we get to see that like at some point in this DLC. Let me close my door real quick. There we go. Alright, so anyway, now the rest of the show will consist of wrestling news, wrestling topics, but I still have one more random tidbit to cover before we get into the main topics for today's podcast. I mentioned a couple times on this show about the WrestleMania 37. Now, it's supposed to be in LA initially. WrestleMania 37 is supposed to be in the bright lights, the big city of Los Angeles, in a brand new, spanking new stadium, which, by the way, looks gorgeous as hell. SoFi Stadium, which currently houses the LA Rams and the LA not the Clippers, the Chargers, sorry. But I just don't see that happening, and I don't see that happening because of COVID-19. And my belief has been strengthened even further because of some reports that we got earlier today on the status of WrestleMania 37 taking place in wherever. So from ITR Wrestling, Gary Cassidy is reporting that there are tentative plans. So these are not finalized yet. There are tentative plans in place to have WrestleMania 37 take place in Tampa, Florida, instead of Inglewood, California, as originally planned. Cassidy said the following: sources close to the situation tell ITR that WWE had put plans in place for WrestleMania 37 to emanate from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, the new Tom Brady land, where WrestleMania 36 had been scheduled to be hosted. Cassidy added that WWE has locked down buildings in the Tampa area for WrestleMania-related events. At this time, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood still has WrestleMania 37 listed as an event for March 28, 2021. So let me see if we can look at that. Yeah, they indeed do still have WrestleMania listed there. Continuing on with some more details from No DQ. There has been concern in recent months about WWE being able to host WrestleMania in California due to the state's COVID-19 restrictions. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently signed an executive order that lifted statewide COVID-related restrictions, which could open the door for WWE to start running events in the state with fans again. WrestleVotes first reported back in September, where he teased that he heard a story that WWE will likely outright deny due to certain contract obligations at this time. He needs to hear from another source before we put it out there. Stand by. So he was teasing this. He teased this back in September. He couldn't say anything. He was teasing this big story that technically Ringside News already had back in July. So now WrestleVotes is saying it earlier today. So WrestleVotes finally spoke about the big teaser he had back in September, and he said the following: those contractual obligations are with the state of California regarding WrestleMania. The news of WWE looking into Tampa Bay is accurate, very accurate. And then John Alba also said, in reply to Gary Cassidy, he was just about to run a story within an hour, but wanted to give WWE a chance to comment and was waiting for a response. Multiple sources have told me as well WrestleMania may be on the move to Tampa about a month after the Super Bowl is held at the same venue. Excuse me. So later in the day, WWE gave John Alba of Spectrum News 13 a brief statement, and that said, and I quote, "We have nothing to report, and given the environment, we continue to monitor locations for all of our potential events." So they probably can't say anything due to non-disclosure agreements within either California or Tampa. So they can't WWE or the city of LA and Tampa can't say anything. So WrestleVotes also said that now that the news is out, I can say that WWE has had Tampa listed as the host city internally for over a month. The battle with the city of Los Angeles about who can legally cancel the event and when is still underway. However, if we get a traditional WrestleMania, WrestleMania with actual fans, Tampa Bay will host. So, at this point, whether it's true or not, if and when it becomes official, which I'm kind of leaning towards very likely, I do think that this will be the right call for WWE to do. As I said a couple weeks ago when I talked about WrestleMania 37 and its location on this show, we have been very slow here in California. We're still in this I don't know what second or third phase of reopening, the 2.5, 3 phase of reopening. I don't know where we are now, but I think, again, as I said before, the Governor Gavin Newsom, he doesn't. I'm not trying to defend him. He doesn't want to make the same mistake he made back in May by reopening too soon. Even when COVID cases are down, he doesn't want to make the same mistake as before by reopening everything instantly. Now, I know politics and media are trying to instill fear in everyone that, oh, COVID is still bad. COVID's still the bad man. But come on, guys. Over 1 million people have already died from COVID, so we can't deny the science. So at this point, I highly doubt that Gavin Newsom is going to reopen the state completely in, let's say, in a month, when WWE needs to start talking about WrestleMania. They need to WWE at this point in a couple of weeks, WWE talks about travel packages, tickets for WrestleMania. Tickets for WrestleMania normally go on sale in mid-November, but they start talking about travel packages weeks earlier, in late October. So in this situation, I don't think Gavin Newsom is going to reopen the state anytime soon. I'm sorry to say it. He already made the mistake once of reopening it. Do you really think he would open the floodgates again? I mean, again, not defending the guy, but realistically, do you really want California to shut down again if another COVID outbreak happens in California? Just play it safe. Now, I know Florida's a hot spot too, but I guess Vince and Ron DeSantis are buddy. So, and we're back to Mania. Again, this is the likely outcome that it's gonna get moved to Tampa. Tampa's gonna get its do-over, since they lost Mania 36 this year because of the pandemic, and not only that, but I also it allows moving Mania in LA a year. Moving Mania LA to a year ahead, in 2022 for Mania 38. granted, if LA gets Mania 38, I'm hoping they do, because that would be really unfair if WWE doesn't get Mania 38 for LA, because they gotta make up. If Tampa was allowed to get Mania 37, after losing Mania 36, then WWE LA should be allowed to do so if they're on the verge of losing Mania 37 the next year, for Mania the following year. So if this comes to fruition, it'll be a loss in the short term, but I do think it'll be a win-win in the long term for both WWE and for the cities of Tampa and LA. So since Florida is more relaxed on COVID restrictions, since Ron DeSantis did reopen everything, they relaxed COVID restrictions, and even more restrictions will likely be relaxed by then in Florida. So WWE will be able to have fans at WrestleMania 37. They're already having a small amount of fans at Jaguars games, well, because Tony Khan and Shahid Khan, but I don't know, I think they have a small amount of fans at Bucks games, so that's a slow process there. And then hopefully by the time we get to 2022, we will have fans for Mania 38 again, if it's in LA. I mean, it should, because again, it would be unfair not to. And then again, if we get the Mania in LA, I think it's going to bring in a lot of marketing. It would be not just marketing, but a lot of money for both Tampa and LA, because guess what's a month prior to WrestleMania? The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be in Tampa a month before WrestleMania, and then if it's in LA in 2022, the Super Bowl will be 1 month or 1 to 2 months before WrestleMania 38. So, Raymond James Stadium and SoFi Stadium are going to get a lot of money. They're going to get a stack full of shit cash for the money that they're going to get for these events, in just a 2-month period. And I think this will really help both of these cities. So Stan Kroenke's probably thinking, damn it, I'm going to lose WrestleMania 37. But he should also be thinking that, I may be losing Mania 37. Okay, that sucks. But I get the Super Bowl in 2022. I get Super Bowl 56 in 2022. And I also get WrestleMania 38 the following month. That's going to get me a lot of money in just a 2-month period for this new stadium. It's going to get me a lot of hype for this new stadium in 2022. See? It's a win-win. It's a win-win for LA. It's a win-win for Tampa. It's a win-win for WWE. So, again, these are just reports behind the scenes. Nothing is official yet. So, make of what you want of it. So, but in all honesty, I'm kind of leaning towards the very likely of this happening. But it's just the fair outcome. It's just a fair outcome when it comes to this. So those are your random tidbits for this week. And even though it was just 2 random tidbits, it's a mouthful. It was a mouthful. It was a big mouthful. So let's get into our main topics for today. We have 3 of them, actually. Let's talk about some Clash of Champions, shall we? honestly thought Clash of Champions was not a bad show. Granted, I really couldn't give a shit less about the build up because Raw was shit. SmackDown was okay going into Clash of Champions, but man, everything outside of Roman Reigns, very inconsistent. So we go into Clash of Champions. I didn't care about the pre-show. The ladder match was pretty cool. As expected, it was like the train wreck. It was like a car crash, but a good car crash because I really liked the ending. Sami Zayn has the handcuffs. He struggled to get the handcuffs onto AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy at first, but then he got creative. He got really creative. Sami Zayn elected to have Jeff Hardy's earlobe handcuffed onto the ladder, and honest to God, when I saw this, I cringed. I really cringed. I'm like, God damn. First, they had Randy Orton go after Jeff Hardy's earlobe and pull that shit out. And now they're having Sami Zayn attach a handcuff and, attach it to a ladder. I'm like, God damn. They really like going after Jeff Hardy's earlobe. And then Sami Zayn tries to handcuff AJ Styles to the ladder, but AJ Styles wanted none of it. He don't want none. And then on a suplex, AJ Styles thought he was gonna win the match, but turns out that Sami Zayn sacrificed himself by handcuffing AJ himself to AJ Styles. So now AJ Styles has to climb up the ladder and try to win the belt with Sami Zayn handcuffed to him. Pretty cool stuff there. And then while he's climbing up, Jeff Hardy literally has to try to win the match with a ladder handcuffed to his earlobe. It was pretty fucked up. And then as AJ Styles is halfway up the ladder, Sami Zayn oddly has the key in his mouth. I'm not sure how he did that, but kudos to WWE on the creativity. And then he unlocks himself and handcuffs AJ Styles to the ladder, and both AJ and Jeff Hardy have to watch helplessly as Sami Zayn reclaims the Intercontinental Championship he never lost back in April. So, pretty good stuff there. A lot of, some good storytelling elements there, and very creative finish. Now, the rest of the card, outside of a couple matches, were They were so I'm not going to touch on those. I will touch on the SmackDown Women's Championship match because that was nearly canceled because it was reported that Nikki Cross, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax were not medically cleared, and they weren't medically cleared because they didn't test positive for COVID, but they came into contact with someone who did test positive for COVID. So I guess they have to quarantine for 2 weeks at least. So that's an unfortunate reality, but hopefully they stay healthy, they stay safe, and hopefully they can come back to work on time. So Bayley is left with no challengers, and she has an open challenge. She holds an open challenge, which is answered by, of course, the Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. I mean, because I guess there's no one literally left to challenge for the SmackDown Women's title. Alexa Bliss is literally gazed upon Bray Wyatt. Lacey Evans, well, WWE doesn't know what to do with her. Naomi is out because of surgery, and Carmella, well, she's still, I guess they're still trying to build her up with those promo packages. I don't know what even that is they're trying to do with her. I mean, it's this mystery woman package, but Like, come on, at this point we should all know it's Carmella. And so Asuka tries to become the undisputed women's champion, but Bayley disqualifies herself by hitting Asuka with the chair, and she thinks about trying to handicap Asuka like she did to Sasha Banks, but lo and behold, Sasha appears out of nowhere and hits Bayley with the chair. And then Bayley is like shook. It's like, oh shit, I didn't think Sasha was gonna be here. And then Sasha is pounding on Bayley, getting on her revenge. Now, granted, she can't really do. She in storyline she can't do much because her neck still hurts. She's like, oh shit, I need to my neck. My mobility's limited. I gotta grab my neck. And then Bayley takes advantage of this to regain the offensive, and Bayley takes her time to attack Sasha, but Bayley is too slow, and Sasha Banks attacks her with the kendo stick to send Bayley packing. And we're actually going to talk more about the two after we talk about the rest of the Clash of Champions. So later in the night, we get the ambulance match between Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. And I don't know why people were shitting on this match a lot. They thought it was an overbooked mess. When in storyline, you had everyone that Randy Orton punted come back to haunt him. I don't know why people shat on this a lot. You had the Big Show. He chokeslams Randy Orton through a table. You had Christian. He attacks Randy Orton backstage. You had Shawn Michaels hits Sweet Chin Music and then pushes Randy Orton off the ambulance through a table or something. And then we'll get into it later, but someone else from Ric Flair's past also comes into play here. But I guess it was also because Randy Orton practically almost no sold any of the offense that these legends had. So I guess it was because WWE made it too competitive for Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. So there were some cool spots here, like Drew McIntyre barely missing the Claymore onto Randy Orton through the ambulance door. And then I honestly thought Randy Orton was going to win the match when he had an RKO onto the concrete, and then he almost had the ambulance door shut, but then Drew McIntyre did his best. Here's Johnny! And then he opened the ambulance door violently and then hit a Claymore onto Orton. And then, as a measure of revenge, he punted Randy Orton while he was still in the ambulance. And then he closed the door shut to, presumably, you would think, end the rivalry between the two. And, of course, Drew McIntyre is still WWE champion. And then, before we get into that, actually, Ric Flair, who Randy Orton also punted, drives the ambulance out of the arena. So, yeah, all of Randy Orton's, victims came back to haunt the Legend Killer. So, you would think that this rivalry between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton's over, right? No. No, it's not. So, Randy Orton comes out the night after, and he wants a rematch because, all the legends cost him the victory. But, I personally think that it was justified. So Randy Orton leaves the building, and after Drew McIntyre has an open challenge with Robert Roode and successfully defends the WWE title, Randy Orton goes full Splinter Cell. He's in a janitor outfit, and he has night vision goggles, and goes into the Legends Lounge and attacks Ric Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels, who are playing poker in there, and turns off the lights and attacks them with the steel chair and pretty much knocks them all out with the steel chair, in the dark. And then Randy Orton obviously disguises himself as the janitor again, and then like the officials just run in there. It's like, oh shit, what happened? And then like as if they knew where to go. So I guess we're not done with this rivalry because, well, Drew wants to fight for the Legends again, and well, Randy Orton wants the WWE title. So I guess we're getting this match at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell likely, and I don't know, man. I really thought this was gonna be the end of the feud. I really did, but I guess not. So then we get to the main event. Roman Reigns versus J Uso. And this match was the personification of what a wrestling match needs to be in modern day wrestling. No high spots, no selling. Wrestlers with characters, wrestlers that know how to tell a story. This was the good balance between storytelling, spots, and character development. So Roman Reigns finally has somewhat new attire. He still has the Shield pants, but he's not wearing the Shield vest anymore. I'm pretty sure all the ladies are gonna find Roman attractive now because he's got that. He's shirtless. But he's slowly shedding away all the babyface hero Roman attire, and then as soon as the match starts, and throughout the match, Roman's just beating the shit out of J Uso. It's like every time J Uso gets a pound of offense in, Roman immediately counters Jay. It's like I thought this was gonna be Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, SummerSlam 14 all over again. And then of course, we needed this. We needed this. Jay Uso starts to rally. He hits a super. He counters Roman in the corner, and then he starts getting his offense in. Hits a super kick, and then he goes for the superfly splash. But then once he tries to get the 3 count, Roman kicks out at 2. But when he kicks out at 2, he hits Jay Uso in the nuts, but the referee doesn't see it. So that's pretty clever heel work by Roman. And then Roman obviously dominates the match from here. He starts pounding the pudding out of Jay Uso until Jay calls Roman the tribal chief. Roman wants Jay to personally claim him as the tribal chief. He doesn't want. He even brashly. He even angrily told Paul Heyman, no, I don't want you to call me the tribal chief. I want Jay to call me the tribal chief. Even though even though it was kind of quiet for me, when Roman was saying that all in a quiet ass tone, it fit his sadistic, sinister role, attitude. It was this is a Roman Reigns that will destroy anyone for anything he wants. So he continues to pound the shit out of Jey Uso, and then all of a sudden Jimmy Uso comes out, and he's clearly hobbled because he's still recovering from that knee injury. So Jimmy Uso comes out, and he's going to Jay's corner and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna throw in the match." And Jay is like, "No, don't do it. I'm gonna fight through this." And then Roman pulls him back in and beats on him some more and say, "Jimmy, you better throw the match, or until he calls me the tribal chief, or you know what's gonna happen next." And Jay is like, "Don't do it. And then Roman continues to pound the pudding out of him even more. And then Jay is filled with emotion. He's so He's so conflicted. He's wondering, does he want to listen to Roman, or does he want to listen to, or does he like listen to his cousin or his brother? So he has to listen to his brother, or he has to listen to Roman because he doesn't want to see his brother beaten to death. So he throws the towel in, and Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship, and Jimmy Uso steps in to stop the beating, and they have to call Roman the Tribal Chief, because this was just something else, man. It's just so sadistic, and I was like, what did we just watch? And this is exactly what a wrestling match needs to be. Storytelling, characters. You can have the high spots, but balance that with a storyline, And that was exactly what we got on Sunday at Clash of Champions. It's like, and not only that, I do think that this would be this would really fit the Hell in a Cell match at the October pay-per-view. Roman Reigns and the Usos in a handicap Hell in a Cell match. Now, granted, if Jimmy is healthy, if he's healthy enough to compete, if his knee is fully recovered, but from the signs of how he was hobbling to the ring, probably not. So it'll probably be Roman versus Jay in Hell in a Cell. But regardless, I think Roman versus the Usos is a really good match to have, because family rivalry, and it's like most people expected Roman to win the match, to win at Clash, but not in the way that he did, not in the way that he did so. So this, in my eyes, was one of the best matches of the year, if not the best match. This is one of my favorite matches of the year, so because of the story that was told alone. So kudos to WWE for that. So that was Clash of Champions. Pretty solid night, but a lot will be remembered by the Universal Championship match, and to a degree the WWE title match. So now we go into this plan that they have for Sasha Banks and Bayley, which they're probably advancing on Smackdown, because having this podcast in the middle of Smackdown. So WrestleVotes mentioned in a tweet on Monday that the planned main event for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is Sasha Banks versus Bayley in a Hell in a Cell match. So I thought to myself, and I'm still thinking right now, actually, why is their first match going to be in a stipulation where typically rivalries end? That does not make sense at all to me. It really doesn't. Now, at some point, they have to face each other. like both Sasha and Bayley have to face each other in this renewed rivalry where Sasha's the face, Bayley is the heel. But why in Hell in a Cell? It's this rivalry doesn't need it right away. It's kind of backwards, don't you think? Now, I know the marks are gonna say no, it's the perfect time to have Bayley versus Sasha in Hell in a Cell. Without fans? Really? When this rivalry is only in its early stages, when yes, we had to undergo almost a year long's worth of a slow ass build, but when this rivalry is only in the early stages of its emotional, mental, and physical build, why? Why does it need Hell in a Cell now? Unless the plan is to completely write off Sasha Banks, let's say by throwing her off Hell in a Cell, or like by throwing her off Hell in a Cell, or by like putting her through the cell roof, maybe, like, but that's like crazy. That's very crazy. But I don't know. I think Hell in a Cell, the stipulation should be reserved for WrestleMania in Tampa, like, which is again most likely location for WrestleMania in next March, when there are going to be fans, most likely. So if I'm countering against the idea of a Hell in a Cell match between Bayley and Sasha, the more reasonable stipulation that I think they should be competing in is either an unsanctioned match or an I Quit match. Now, I know I Quit matches are like can be the most boring of matches that for some people, but I do think that it can like protect Sasha and in some ways, because in storyline, let's say she's still not 100% to compete, or she's still not medically cleared, but she wants to beat up on Sasha Banks in a match, like in WWE or she signs off on a match that WWE is technically not liable for. And in most cases, that match is an unsanctioned match or an I Quit match. So, a Hell in a Cell, like, where Bayley and Sasha don't need to beat up on each other in the Hell in a Cell match, Bayley could beat up Sasha so badly, the referee could call for a TKO. You know, like in a situation where in the unsanctioned match for Unforgiven 2008, the referee, like Shawn Michaels, like beat up on Jericho like relentlessly until the referee called for like a TKO, or referee stoppage, if my history is correct. And then if we're doing an I Quit match, like WWE books Bayley to relentlessly like attack Sasha's neck until she says I quit, in which she does. And then after the match, Bayley like completely breaks, like let's say she completely destroys Sasha and writes her off till the Royal Rumble. That way Sasha wins the Royal Rumble, and then they can face off. They can renew the rivalry going into WrestleMania season, and then face off in Hell in a Cell at Mania with fans. Granted, if there are even the smallest amount of fans. So, in my opinion, it's way too soon to have these two compete inside Hell in a Cell. I know I'm kind of sound like a smart right now, but it's my opinion, so I can do whatever. So we'll see. Like once I see SmackDown tonight, if they start building towards that, which they probably will, unfortunately. They have to rush it, that stipulation, unfortunately, which in my opinion is stupid. So I'm wishfully thinking they do the unsanctioned match or the I Quit match and save Hell in a Cell till WrestleMania, and then end the feud there, where Sasha wins the match and the SmackDown Women's title. So it is what it is. But then again, how do you keep this feud going until then? Well, actually, it's a good segue into my last segment for today. The WWE Draft. The WWE Draft is coming up next Friday. It's actually been, next week will almost mark 1 year since the last WWE Draft. So next week will mark the beginning of the WWE Draft. Hopefully this time that the NFL, the MLB, like the whole Fox Sports crew, like I really hope they don't get involved in like in all honesty, I really hope they don't like promote this shit. Like, as much as I liked seeing Joe Buck talk about WWE, please don't make that. Please don't force them to do that again. Please don't. And please don't have like fake ass actors and executives pretend to be draft room members. Pretend that they're getting like I don't know how to say it. Pretending that they're like picking the wrestlers to go to Raw or Smackdown. Please don't do those boardroom things again, because it was clearly fake. But I did like Cletus the Robot, so that was cool, I guess. So we're gonna talk a little bit about my mock draft. Now I know they do this for like NFL, NBA, but since I'm more interested in WWE, we're gonna talk about WWE mock drafts. This is the initial version. I might do one next week. Just with 30 minutes before the WWE draft. But the number one overall pick for Raw, the number one overall pick would be, in my opinion, Sasha Banks. And why do I say Sasha Banks? Well, just like in my last segment, how do you keep this feud going between Bayley and Sasha? Keep Sasha Banks as far away from Bayley as possible. Now, realistically, knowing WWE, they still have this bland to bland invitational going on, because right now they're using wrestlers on shows they shouldn't be on. Like Kevin Owens is on Raw, and yet he's showing up on SmackDown. They're using wrestlers that are on a specific brand on shows that they shouldn't be on. So it makes the brand extension completely pointless. They need to solidify that brand extension. I know people are saying, "Oh, end the brand split, end the brand split." But do you know what the brand split will do? It'll further lessen the opportunities that many wrestlers are getting right now. Like, as much as the ratings will go up, so will the opportunities that will go down for many wrestlers. Some that deserve it, but many others that don't. So for the number one overall pick, dependent on what it's SmackDown or Raw, I think Sasha Banks needs to go to Raw. Mainly to keep her away from Bayley, but to also extend that feud till WrestleMania with Bayley. Have Sasha win the Royal Rumble, then have Sasha choose Bayley to face at Mania, so Sasha can go back to SmackDown. Then, once Sasha wins the Hell in a Cell match at Mania for the SmackDown Women's title, then she can officially become a part of SmackDown again as the champion. And in some of my other Raw picks, I do think there will be a mix of NXT here. And I think the main need WWE needs right now, I know it's kind of like sports talky-ish, is better creative, better. I know we can look at better creative, obviously, but from a talent standpoint, they need to lessen the women's division, but in order to offset the loss of the women's division they're gonna face, they need to get someone from NXT. So I think that WWE is gonna call up Chelsea Green and maybe Robert Stone. No, I don't think Chelsea Green's associated with Robert Stone anymore, so ignore that. I think they're gonna call up Chelsea Green from NXT, bring her to Raw, to bolster and offset the loss of many women that I predict are gonna move to SmackDown. I also think that WWE could use some new faces on the tag team division, so they can get the title off the street trash. So they're gonna move the New Day to Raw, and And then, they could use some new faces in the mid card and lower main event scene. So I think Daniel Bryan could use a fresh start on Raw. So can The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And then on the lower card, they can get Raw can draft Chad Gable, aka Shorty G, and Jeff Hardy. When was the last time Jeff Hardy was exclusive to Raw? So there's that. And then I do think SmackDown's most biggest need is, again, the women's division. Literally the week before the draft, I really don't understand why Creative did this, but they literally sent a bunch of SmackDown's women's division to Raw. I don't know if this was part of the brand to brand thing, or they literally traded half of their SmackDown women's division to Raw. And I don't know what they're getting in exchange of that. Probably nothing. Probably literally nothing. So, hopefully, this is my mock predictions on what SmackDown could get. Because what I'm thinking here is that most of this draft is probably going to be what Raw traded for from SmackDown. So, from SmackDown side, I'm predicting a women's division exodus. Not exodus, but a women's division, I don't know, entrance or something. A women's division mass, a mass entrance, whatever. I can't come up with the word. So I think Liv Morgan is gonna come to SmackDown. Ruby Riot's also gonna come. Bianca Belair could also come to be a challenger to Bayley. Billie Kay could also be a forefront to SmackDown, and also as a way to get her away from Peyton Royce. So Peyton Royce can be built up as a possible star for Raw. And I know some people like Billie Kay. Oh, not Billie Kay, but Peyton Royce. Shotzi Blackheart from NXT. Some fans like her too. So since Shotzi is not really doing anything in NXT, all she's doing is losing, even though she has the talent to be a star. Why not just call her up to the main roster already? And then I really don't have much from the men's side right now, because what is Raw have much to offer in terms of the men? Really, they're not doing much with the top level draw anyway. So I think this now is the time for Seth Rollins to make a jump to be drafted to SmackDown. So he can be as far away from the Mysterios as possible. Just end that whole thing with the Mysterio family. And then Ricochet, because, Friday nights could use some more high fly spotty shit. And then I'm going to make a very bold one, even though I do think he could be ineligible. Karrion Kross. I do think, even though in a short time in NXT, I do think he was the one star that stuck out to me the most, in NXT. So, Karrion Kross, once he's healthy and ready to go, he could be, on SmackDown and maybe be a challenger for Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I don't know, maybe as a tweener, I guess. And you can bring Scarlett with him. So, I know it's not many picks. But I mean the WWE as a whole, it's pretty messy right now. There's not a lot of star power, in all honesty. I mean, you don't have Becky Lynch, who's pretty repetitive at this point, but I mean, there's name value for WWE, but Becky Lynch is on maternity leave. Charlotte, obviously another big name for WWE, but she's had that she's been having that procedure since July, and we don't know when she's gonna be back. Then Ember Moon. Again, the injury history, especially with the torn Achilles, she's been doing anything since. Yeah, not a lot. Like literally, there's what can WWE do in this draft? What can creative do to make this draft very believable? That oh wow, Raw and SmackDown's finally going to be shaken up. Like especially Raw because that show is suffering. Like they can't do anything right now. They can't. At least SmackDown with Roman Reigns is very consistent. Like it's bearable to watch. Very bearable. Now there are some things that are questionable, but at least you can sit through and like watch through some of it. But those are my mock draft picks for next week's draft. I may do another one before it happens on next week's show. If there are some interesting things to talk about alongside my mock draft picks. But that's all I got for you tonight on this episode of Dylan Lasagna Live. Let me know what you feel about any of the topics discussed. I forgot to get my outro music, as always. Long day. It's been a long day. I'm very tired. But anyway, let me know how you feel about my mock draft picks for the WWE Draft next week. Let me know. Let me know how you feel about Minecraft Steve being in Smash Bros. That was the random tidbit we kicked off with at the show. Let me know about Mania 37. Most likely, it's not official yet, being moved from LA to Tampa. And then, last but not least, the Clash of Champions highlights I discussed. So, let me know about your thoughts about all the topics I discussed tonight in the comments below. Thank you all for joining me. We'll see what next week brings, and it should be interesting. Interesting. There's there's got to be at least something interesting, right? To talk about. But nonetheless, always be delicious. Make sure to like, comment, do all that stuff to keep my channel alive. Hey everyone, see you next time, and take care.